Hi guys, this is Stefan, aka Nebro5000 for Gaming Pigeon, and this is the Gaming Pigeon review of Mobius Final Fantasy for iOS and Android mobile phones. I talked about this game at length yesterday, mostly rambling from looking at the old recording, and I feel like I have a much better understanding of what I was playing after playing for this for basically half the day between looking for work and other household chores. This game has taken up a lot of my time and the day that I've actually had to play it. So let me start off with the story or the premise of the game. Essentially, the world that you have been transported into is the world of the original Final Fantasy, where the Warrior of Light is to defeat the forces of Chaos. Chaos being a demonic god of some sort. So, you are one of various blanks or potential Warriors of Light that must travel north to find your way. Essentially, in the first chapter that we have, the first of the chapters I got to play, you are introduced to Garland, who, if you've played the Final Fantasy games, you know that he isn't really such a nice guy. He's kind of sort of evil, and he is kind of labeled as such when people call him the heretic. And being a heretic usually means you're persecuted and all sorts of bad stuff. So yeah, he's already not on the right foot with you, if you can even say you were on any foot with him in the first place. He kind of dismisses you and all the other blanks as just potential Warriors of Light, not really counting you as the sort of hero that you're going to be. But we get to really find out what sort of personality the Warrior of Light has when we actually hear the voice acting, which is actually pretty good for a mobile game. We are introduced to several characters, including Vox, who is this omniscient narrator of sorts. He's kind of an arrogant guy, question mark. I don't really know what sort of gender you'd give to a disembodied voice, but yeah, he kind of seems like a jerk, and he acts like a jerk towards you, even though he wants the best for the world of Paramecia, and he's kind of sort of giving you this whole speech about being the chosen ones, or possible chosen ones. It's all about possibility, apparently. So, like I said, it's a journey of discovering who you are as the Warrior of Light. You don't remember much of anything except for your name, because you, being the player character, get to give the Warrior of Light his name. And yeah, name mine Nebro, because that's who I am, Nebro5000. So I went through nearly all of chapter 1, and gonna talk about some of the presentation I've seen here. I already mentioned the fact that the voice acting is pretty good, actually really good for a mobile game, particularly Garland and Vox. Warrior of Light seems kind of gravelly, but you can still see that he knows what he's doing. He has a pretty good understanding of how to voice act. So you hear that in how he acts. You have Princess Sarah, who you meet much later on. Kind of has that Princess Peach-like voice. Luckily, you don't really exactly know too much about her, so that doesn't. You don't really get to know her for too long. She kind of disappears, and you kind of don't ask any questions as the Warrior of Light. You kind of just brush it off like, yeah, sure, whatever. Why am I here again? I guess I have to fight. Fun? I don't know. But yeah, the voice acting is great. The music is great. Some of the overworld music can be a little bit repetitive, but it's not so bad that you would be turned off by the song if you took a break. If you took a break and came back, you're like, oh yeah, this song's still pretty great. So yeah, I would imagine most people will be taking several breaks playing this game, just based on hearing the overworld music. I played it for a good portion of the morning while I was looking for work and stuff. So yeah. I would say the graphics for this mobile game, again, I'm really emphasizing the fact that this is a mobile game. It is beautiful. This game is absolutely beautiful. Just unbelievable quality in terms of not only the environments that you walk through. Like, you have this beginning area called Primordia, where you essentially rise or fall wherever you emerge from there, and the surrounding area, that's exactly what you'd imagine a magical primordial soup to look like, and monsters kind of just pop out of there, and it nothing feels out of place. The monster design looks very much how you'd imagine the very first enemies you would come across would look like. Aside from that, other character designs, I feel like I really like Garland's design. He really stands out. The character design for the Warrior of Light himself, a little sketchy, but I can't exactly knock the game for not having all the characters look amazing all the time. The various costumes you're going to come across as you change jobs, which I will talk about after this segment, they're very well designed. You kind of feel as though each job is its own character. They have a series of different poses they go through, and they have the warrior kind of just crosses his arms, kind of looks stoic. The magician or mage or apprentice magician kind of fiddles with the wand a little bit, and the thief kind of gives you this kind of cocky look, like, yeah, I know what I'm doing, don't worry about me, I can handle myself. Which I don't doubt, but at times this game can be a little bit difficult, which I will talk about in a second. So, talking about gameplay, I talked about it a little bit yesterday, where I kind of highlighted what the actual battle system was like. You tap the screen, and you have a 3-hit combo that you would unleash upon whatever enemy is unlucky enough to stand in your way, which is cool. And from that 3-hit combo, you have mana orbs or mana crystals. It didn't really clarify, even though I played through some of the story, what those are, but you have these crystals that fly off of the enemy and float in midair until you unleash a more devastating special attack. And with that, they kind of go back to Final Fantasy XIII, where each attack you do chips away at this stagger bar under the enemy's health. And once you've staggered them completely, they go into this break state where you can do exponentially higher amounts of damage. And they always, as you have probably seen from other mobile games, they always associate each enemy with a type of element. So you can collect all the cards or whatever orbs, monsters, and be more effective against more enemies. Same with this game, and when you come across enemies that are the same elements as you, it's not like you're completely helpless. You can hold down a icon in the bottom right corner or bottom left corner, wherever you assign this thing, and you can up your defense against the element that the enemy is using. So if your enemy is using water, you have some water mana floating around. You hold down that button and you slide your thumb towards the water mana crystal. It will collect around you, and you will be defended for at least, I believe, 25% or maybe even 50% based on how much mana you've collected. It's actually scaling based on how much you've saved. So you can stockpile for both attack and defense in this game. It's all about strategy, and it's actually really impressive how much thought had been put into this game in regards to what you need to do to beat a certain type of enemy. So I'll go up until the point at which you meet Princess Sarah. You kind of just travel around the world by tapping on icons that represent locations in the world, and every now and then you'll come across some cutscenes, and that comes back to the amazing presentation that I talked about earlier. It's pretty cool suddenly being dropped into the story in a mobile game RPG thing. So I can't stress that enough. That is really great. I feel like it's almost a full game. You get 2 chapters with downloading this game, and more chapters will be loaded as time passes. But yeah, throughout this world you will come across cutscenes, you'll come across optional bosses and things like that, and you will also come across temples and things like that. This whole other part of the world that you can travel to and level up, gain money, experience, or just level up your card abilities that do more damage as they level up. But getting back to the gameplay in terms of story. So you get to a point where you're fighting a dragon in front of Princess Sarah's crystal, where the whole story basically begins unraveling for you. This fight against the dragon is actually pretty tough if you're not well prepared, and each fight is actually rated for you based on what you have equipped. So if you have enough water attack abilities equipped to your character, and your character can summon water mana from attacking the enemy, your difficulty for that fight will go down exponentially. If you have absolutely nothing in regards to the actual damage you can do to an enemy, it will go up to, you have a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the most difficult and 1 being basically the most trivial thing you'll do all day. So with that, you come across this dragon, like I said, and you'll come across its various attacks. Some of these attacks are 2-stage attacks that you actually have a chance to interrupt if you have its stagger meter low enough, and with that you do even more damage. All these little systems that you have at your disposal in this game make this game even more interesting. Uh, for the most part, I haven't really come to a point where I'm entirely bored with this game. I really only put the game down because other things were happening in the real world, and I wanted to see what happens next. I only have 2 chapters at this point, but even with the limited amount of content for what we have, these chapters feel pretty long, and I feel like I'm only about a third of the way through the first chapter, and things have already gotten pretty interesting. We already see Garland being treated differently from other people because he's called the quote-unquote heretic, and with that title with that title, you are essentially marked to be attacked at random by other believers in the prophecy. So that's an interesting plot point that I'd like to understand more about the prophecy. I'd like to understand more about why Paramecia needs a warrior of light in the first place, aside from having to fight chaos. But who says that the other people in Paramecia can't fight chaos themselves? Why did you have to transport me from another world? The people who you show up with, everybody seems very disoriented. Nobody remembers their name. Everybody is suffering from amnesia, and they're very disturbed. They're not very happy about their situation. So it's pretty understandable that all these people, including the Warrior of Light, who you play as, they're generally pissed off about everything. So yeah, overall, I'd give this game, at the very least, a 9 out of 10 in terms of a mobile game, or maybe even a game in general. If this game was more fleshed out, I'd put it on the Vita and go to town. This game definitely deserves a great deal of praise for all the amounts of focus that was put into the gameplay and the quality of work. I would say this, to a degree, resolves any issues we had with whether or not Final Fantasy is a viable property anymore, or whether or not Square Enix can make a good game that isn't something that they own through IDOS. A lot of people have been saying that, strangely. I still hold out hope that Square Enix will pull through and give us a good game with Final Fantasy 15. But if Mobius is anything to go by, I feel like we are seeing a quality spike in Square Enix's games that could mean even more amazing things, even for mobile in itself. I could imagine a future in which games like Bushido Blade, which was a pretty awesome game back in the day for the PlayStation, that Squaresoft had, and I imagine other properties that they had, like Musashi and I'm pretty sure games like Dragon Quest could probably be reorganized into something similar to what we have here. I can't express how much I am happy this game it looks as good as it does. I can't wait to see more content for what we're being presented with. It's a pretty expansive universe that Final Fantasy could be working with, and they've already made nods to other games in the series, with a card for Yuna from Final Fantasy X being a healing item, and you have Titus's trademark blade, Brotherhood, that a warrior can equip. So all of this and more are coming down the pipe for Final Fantasy Mobius, or Mobius Final Fantasy, however you want to call it. Like I said, I'm giving this game a 9 out of 10. And for a mobile game, I'm absolutely floored by how much quality is being pumped into this thing. So this has been Stefan for Gaming Pigeon. Follow us at TG Pigeon Tweets on Twitter, and you can follow me at Nebro5000, also on Twitter and Instagram. If you're into that stuff, don't really post too much gaming stuff there, but you know, if you want to keep up, we have Instagram stories now, so who knows. Yeah, so until next time, guys, hopefully within the next few weeks I'll be reviewing some more games. Most likely going to be reviewing some Vita games, maybe a couple PC games. Definitely going to be reviewing some PS4 games at some point soon, and definitely some 3DS games. Can't say I'm going to be doing anything on the Xbox, because Xbox One isn't something I own. But anyway, enough of me being poor, not being able to afford these things. I hope you had a good day. I hope you enjoyed the review. I hope it helped you make a decision on whether or not to put this game on your phone and play it for days, or whether or not it's actually something worth your time in the first place. So yeah, have a nice day, guys, and good gaming, everyone.